Hello and welcome to Decoding Life, a podcast aimed to help teens and students find their way through life through major crossroads and when they have to make life-altering decisions. My name is Aishani and I'm the host of this podcast, and today we have the gorgeous and amazing Miss Hannah.
Hello.
She's a drama teacher at Raha, and as far as I can hear, we have a lot to talk about, and let's get started.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Well, what do you want to start with?
So I guess first of all we can talk about who you are, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Okay.
Basically like your past experiences, careers, etc.
Okay, so Miss Hannah, obviously. Now working at Raha, I have had 3, maybe 4 different careers in my life. I started off as a nursery nurse, then I became a pediatric nurse, then I became a performer, and then I became a teacher. So I have done 4 completely different careers in my short, but also feeling very long life at the moment. So, and now I'm here, been in Abu Dhabi now for 3 years. And yeah, loving every minute of it. I love teaching now.
I can see you went from like a nurse to performer to teacher.
Yeah.
But I can see like one thing that you had in common was that you definitely love working with kids.
I do.
Yeah.
That's probably my only passion that I have,
Yeah.
is working with kids. So yeah, that's been fun to do.
So can you please tell us how you went from a nurse to performer then a teacher?
Yeah, of course. So when I was 16, I had to choose my GCSEs, and I always wanted to perform. So I was performing from the age of 6, and I said to my parents, when it comes to choosing my GCSEs, I really want to do performing arts and music and drama. And my dad said, find courses that you know you can fall back on. So he said to me, as much as drama is your passion, is it something you know you can definitely get a career in? If not, then choose something else you can get a career in, and then from there you can do drama on the side. So that's what I did. So for my GCSEs, I did child development and psychology. I went to college and studied health and social care and childcare, and then became a nursery nurse. So I worked in nurseries, I became nursery manager and kind of worked my way up in the nursery field. And then went to university. I did my pediatric nursing degree. Worked in the hospitals for ages. I worked in the hospital for about 5 years. And then I realized that I enjoyed entertaining the patients more than I liked injecting them. So I decided, let's make a change. I always loved performing, and the opportunity to work in the London West End came up. So when the opportunity came up, I said, nursing, West End, West End it is. So decided to stop nursing. I then went and I worked on the West End, and I did Oliver, and I was Nancy in Oliver for a year. And then after I did that, I owned my own drama company. So I had my own drama company for about 2.5 years. I ran my own drama company that was government funded, so it's free for like disadvantaged children to come to in London. And I loved that. But one of the parents said to me, "You're not qualified to teach my children. Where is your teaching degree?" So I went back to university. I did my teaching degree, and then that's how I became a teacher. So I had no plan, really, of becoming a teacher. But when that parent said to me, "You don't have a teaching degree," I said, all right, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get my teaching degree. And I did. I went back and I got my teaching degree. And that was it. That's how I became a teacher.
Wow, that whole ups and downs of like your career.
Very up and down.
Like, I love how you're like really strong-minded about what you do. So
Yeah.
whatever you do, you're going to make sure you do
Oh,
it
yeah,
well.
to the best of my ability, yeah. Even if I fail at the end of it, I know that I've put the effort in. And that's what matters to me most. Like, if you put the effort in and you still fail, you can say, do you know what? It just wasn't for me. I put the effort in, it just wasn't meant for me, move on to the next thing.
That's something a lot of us actually struggle with, because we always want to have like a stable career, and we want to do something that we know we can keep up with. But what I think we don't realize is that, especially as teens, whatever we do, we can always turn back.
Oh, yeah. You're not that generation. Like, my grandparents' generation was a generation where you had one job and you stuck with that one job for the rest of your life. And that was it. Like, you didn't change career paths. You didn't even try something new. It was, if you're a builder, you're a builder until the day you die. And then even my parents' generation, to be fair, they kind of stuck with their jobs. But I think that the world is changing so much now that if you stick with one job for too long, you get bored. Where you lot are a generation, you get bored very, very quickly. So you choose a job. At 16, you're basically making the decision that's going to alter your whole entire life. And that's wild to put that pressure on a 16-year-old. So you go into a career like I did, I went into nursing thinking, yeah, this can be it for the rest of my life. And then realized, actually, this isn't what I want to do anymore. And you find another path and you find something else that you find fun and enjoyable. And I love my job. And I think that's an important thing, is if you find something you love, that's something you'd want to stick with. But it does take time, it takes energy and effort and trying things out. So if your generation can try things out, then I think that's fantastic for you to try.
Okay, so I think, as you mentioned, people, schools, universities, they're putting a lot of pressure on us as teens at a very young age, as you said, to choose what we're going to do, including subjects and everything. So how do you think, because the system isn't going to change anytime soon, as far as I can tell, so how do we choose our subjects and make decisions that can help us?
I know that, say for example, you want to go into medicine. I know that the arts isn't necessarily an option that you have, but if there's another subject that you know you enjoy that you can take alongside of that, that subject then takes the pressure off of the subjects that you need to succeed in, if that makes sense. So it's just another lesson that you can have fun. So I do think that it's important that you enjoy your subjects, and as much as you kind of have to abide with what your parents want for you, still having something that is going to be fun for you and enjoyable, and that you know you're going to get a good grade in as well, that I think would be really beneficial. Because at the end of the day, all your grades are piled into one anyway, and that's what's submitted to a university. To say, yeah, I'm an IB scholar, that's all they're going to see. They're not going to see, oh, well, actually, she got 25 in one subject and 33 in another. It's just, you are an IB scholar, we'll accept you. So if you can find a subject that you know you're either going to get the grades in or that you're going to enjoy yourself in, I would say definitely try and have fun in class. You know, don't make it as like dreary and boring as some subjects are. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. It's what I wanted to do. And I look back and it wasn't an option for me, unfortunately, at the time. But I definitely would advise anyone to continue taking a subject that you enjoy at the same time.
Yeah, I think also the subjects that we choose, if we enjoy it, you're probably going to do well in it as well, because you put in the effort.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think that I'm now reconsidering a lot of my subject choices, because even in grade 9 at 14, I have to choose. I'm actually dropping almost 4 subjects this year. So I am now going to go home and reconsider.
Yeah, have a think.
Yeah, and I think for you, listening to you talking about that has really changed my perspective on that. And I think the audience would also really benefit from it. And other than that, when we actually go into the world and go to university and have jobs, obviously it's inevitably going to be a roller coaster, really, especially with AI and basically all these developments that are happening in the job world. So how do we keep sane and really stay on track and stay grounded when we're going through all those fluctuations?
It's hard, and you might fall a lot, and I think it's just about trying to remember what your end goal is. I think it's important to know where you start and where you want to finish. Everything that happens in between can be the biggest roller coaster ever, but if you keep that end goal in mind and you know, by the end of this I want a PhD, by the end of this I just want an MD, or I just want to get my degree and finish. That's all I want to do, just get my degree. And you know, I only have 3 years. 3 years at the end of the day isn't a lot. When you think about how long you've been in middle school and high school for, it's a lot longer. You know, you've already done almost 10 years of education. 3 extra years is going to be absolutely nothing. So I think trying to stay on track is definitely going to be difficult, and I will never tell you it's an easy ride, because it is not, and I'd be lying to you if I said that, yeah, it's going to be great, university is going to be the easiest thing in the world, and yeah, you'll just get through it. No, there will be sleepless nights. You'll be in the library for 24 hours. I took a sleeping bag to my library, and I slept under a desk just so that I finished my work on time. I spent a whole week in the library. All my dinners and my lunches came from a vending machine, because I knew I had an assignment that needed completing. But that is They're the struggles that you go through, so that at the end of the day, you can look back and go, do you know what? I went through a lot, but look at where I am now. So those struggles have made me a stronger person, a more independent person, and I have a story to tell. I wouldn't be able to tell you that I slept in a library if I didn't sleep in a library.
Yeah.
You know, they're parts that have shaped me into who I am now. So I think it's important to go through those roller coasters, have those hardships, have those down times where you think, do you know what, I don't think I can do this course anymore. And then just remember, do you know what, I have an end goal. I have something I want to reach, somewhere I want to get to, and you'll be absolutely fine. You'll get through it. It's hard, but you'll get there.
It's hard, but
it's hard, but it's worth it. It is worth it in the end.
So I think really finding that drive, finding what you want at the end. And does it have to be, I don't think it has to be a degree necessarily?
No,
or
no, it doesn't.
Anything?
No, it doesn't have to be a degree. You can do apprenticeships as well. There are loads of apprenticeships out there, not just in this country, around the world. And you can go into any field that you want to. Anything that takes your fancy, just say to them, listen, I want to see how I work in this job. Can I do an apprenticeship? And a lot of the time they'll say yes, because you're free labour. At the end of the day, they get you for a year, they get you to work for them for free, you learn essential skills that mean that you can then be in the business place. Obviously, it means that your parents may have to fund you, or you may have to get a job on the side. But if it's something that you feel like long term you can do, then I would definitely say an apprenticeship is a good avenue to go down. Not everyone can do degrees. Not everyone has the ability to sit down and write a 15,000 word dissertation. You know, it takes a long time, and it takes a strong person to be able to sit and do things like that. And that's not what everyone can do. People have different skill sets, people have different gifts they've been given or blessed with, and sometimes it's not your gift. I'm dyslexic, so I know that for myself, going to university was a struggle. And that's why I think I spent hours and hours in the library, because reading a page, I'd have to read the same page about 10 times before it would sink in. And that took me a long time. So someone like myself who struggles when it comes to reading, it might not be an avenue you want to go down. It might be that you want to do an apprenticeship instead, because you know you don't have to read as much. You don't have to do a 15,000 word dissertation either. Oh my goodness, let me just sit in an office and watch what people do. And you might be a kinesthetic learner, you have to be hands-on. That might be an easier route for you. So it doesn't have to be university, it doesn't have to be a degree. Just as long as you find something that you know that you can succeed in and that's going to pay the bills. That's the important part, pay the bills. So yeah.
And you mentioned, I think we mentioned two things that I wanted to ask about. First of all, doing what you want to do, but also paying the bills. A lot of people actually really struggle finding something and doing a career that they enjoy. They avoid doing things that they want to do because they're afraid it won't pay the bills. Like, in previous generations, you wouldn't actually consider acting or drama or even in some cases teaching as a career because it probably won't pay the bills. But now those are obviously job options because people took those risks.
Yes.
So even if you don't think it may or may not pay the bills, should you still go into it? Or
I think if it's a passion that you have, then definitely do it. But it's whether you then consider it as a hobby or a career. So I know that a lot of people of my generation use performing arts now as a hobby, and they have a career that is either teaching or, I don't know, I've got friends who are accountants and on the weekend they act and things like that. So I definitely think that it depends on how hard you work in the acting world to how big you get, which then depends on how much money you then receive. So it is a lot of hard work, and I know a lot. I've got a lot of friends who are still actors but have had to take side jobs to pay the bills. So do it, but if you're not at a point where you can pay your bills, then consider something else that can help you pay your bills while you still do the thing you love at the end of the day. Don't never let work consume you to the point where you lose who you are, because the things you're passionate about, I sing on my journeys to work now because I'm like, I have no other time to sing. I'm going to sing every journey to work, and that's how I find my time to do what I still love. So, yeah.
Okay, I think, yeah, definitely. And a huge problem with that, which I think a lot of people are facing when they try to find a work-life balance, is that a lot of times we don't realize when we find ourselves not doing anything, if we're bored or if we have like that 10 minutes in between two different tasks, we just, especially this generation, we just take our phone out and do something. But
Yes, you lot are the social media generation. Very much so. It's just throw the phone and just get rid of it. No. I mean, I understand being on your phone, but if you can, pick up something else, even a book.
Yes.
Something. Pick up something, generation. Pick it up. So, yeah.
Okay. And talking to you, I also realized you have, as I think I mentioned this before, a very strong personality, and you're very straightforward and everything. Is there any like experience that you've had that has helped build and shape who you are and what you've done?
Yeah, I was bullied the whole way through middle school. Whole way through. Hair pulling, name calling. Had my head shoved in a toilet once. Yeah, I was bullied a lot of the time. And then I found a really good group of friends who helped me out of that. And friendship is so important. And they're people I'm still friends with now. We're talking almost, I've known one of them for almost 20 years, my best friend. And she helped me so much to turn into the person I am today. And having friends who support you and don't care if you're weird or wacky or like strange things or sit on the toilet in school and sing your little heart out. They don't care about things like that because they love you for who you are. And I think that it is really important to have those people that will tell you, this is not how you should be treated, this is how you should be treated, this is how you need to stand up for yourself, and these are things you can do to succeed. And I think having those people behind you and then pushing you forward, and you also being someone to push other people forward, that's kind of what shaped me into who I am now. Because I was shy. I was reserved, I didn't want to speak to anyone, I didn't want to do anything. And then I found a group of people that loved me for who I was, and they were like, be you. It's fine to be you. Go for it. So find that group, even if it's one individual that you know is going to treat you the way that you want to be treated as a friend, and that is going to love you unconditionally, and that's all that matters.
So finding that, not necessarily circle, I guess, if it's even one person, but at least like something you can fall back on in terms like socially with other people.
Yes.
So having a career you can fall back on and having people you can fall back on.
Most important things in life. And family. If it's not that you find it in a friend, if you find it in your family. I've got 2 amazing sisters who, doesn't matter what happens, they're ready to fight my corner. So having them, and I know that I would fight theirs as well, so having them there to support me and really supportive parents as well, that's not everyone gets that. So if you have the family network, keep the family network. If you're not getting it from your family, then find someone else that you can get that network from. So, yeah.
We covered a lot in this episode.
We have.
Yes. So we went through who you are, your career,
yes,
and you went through like 4 different jobs.
Yeah.
If I can remember, a nursery nurse, pediatric nurse, performer, and then you're now a teacher.
Yes.
That's amazing. And
too much.
Yeah. And we went through like picking careers, adapting to the changes that we have, and having that backup career, something you can fall back on, hobbies, people you can fall back on, a good social group. That's a lot. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't have you as a teacher before, and you're new to this school, so I didn't know you either. But this has been amazing.
No, it's been nice. It's been quite fun actually. To just talk. I don't really get to just talk to people much, so it's been nice. Just sit,
have
chill,
a chat,
have a conversation. So this is really nice. I like what you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. So for the audience, if you have any questions that you have for Miss Hannah, or if you want to have another episode with her even, or anyone else really, please comment down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.